the Autism Dimension, I mean, as of 2015 in British Columbia, families are given $22,000 a year in services or in funding to pay for services for children under 6. And as I've already said, the number of children has skyrocketed since 2005. When ACT first took responsibility for the Registry of Autism Service Providers, there were about 150 service providers. Now there are over 600, and they have a much higher quality in terms of their educational background. And it's not just, it's because the whole field, particularly of behavior analysis, has increased its standards dramatically. So we are in a much better situation. Although if you're living in a small community and you can't find someone to help your child, it may not feel that way. Or if you've hired somebody and it's been a miserable experience, it won't feel that way. So that's again where we say, please give us a call and we'll try and help the best we can. I want to just briefly, again, we're talking about advocacy, and you need to understand the thanks that we have to give to the efforts of a committed group of parents who sued the province of British Columbia, and in 2001-2 were really responsible for the implementation of the autism funding program. The case was a class action lawsuit, and they were successful at the BC Supreme Court, and then it went to the Supreme Court of Canada, and they lost. So funding for the autism funding program has continued even though the families lost at the Supreme Court. And I think this is because families won in the court of public opinion. So we continue to have autism funding, but one of my roles in life is to say to families that you all have the responsibility for ensuring that that money is used really carefully so that the next generation of kids have that funding available. Another important legal decision was that of the Hewko family, who went to great lengths to ensure that their child was meaningfully educated in the Abbotsford school system. And Appendix A has a lot more information on the Hewko decision, but the key thing about the Hewko decision was that children have now the right in British Columbia, their families have to be meaningfully consulted about their placement. So it's not enough for the school district to say, we're going to put your child in this special program, see you in September. It is that parents have to have this discussed. The school district has to make a case with the parent. The parent has to have the opportunity to discuss it. And at the end of the day, the parents can appeal it, right? And we'll talk about the appeals process later. So I think that this whole idea of meaningful consultation is really an important one, and we have the Hewko family to thank for their efforts in actually being prepared to fight that battle for their child. Another court case, 2012, it's Supreme Court of Canada, and they ruled, and this is incredibly important, that students with disabilities are entitled to receive the accommodation measures they need to access and benefit from the service of public education. In this regard, the court said that the adequate special education is not a dispensable luxury. It's not an option, right? That school districts, the Ministry of Education across the country, they don't have the option of saying, this year we're going to fund this trip to Europe, but it's too bad we're cutting back special education because we're just tightening our belts here. Because if children with special needs don't have access to the accommodation and support they need to actually get an education, then that trumps. In other words, it can't be considered a luxury. It's actually a necessity. The court acknowledged that such measures serve as the ramp that provide access to the statutory commitment to education made to all children in British Columbia. So it's really important. You can find online, there's an article there that's quite interesting.